Gemini, great to see you here, and we are looking at a preview of 2026. What I want to start with before we get to those outer planets and the dynamic shifts of what they represent, I'll start off with Mars. Mars this year has no retrogrades, so it's going to be hammering down, starting off 12 degrees in Capricorn in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house has everything to do with your finances, not necessarily your month-to-month income and so forth, in and out. It's more your long-term investments, your savings, royalties, insurance policies, and so forth, inheritance as well. Anything 8th house related, money that you have jointly with your partner or elsewhere. So it's going to go from that focus straight through the 9th, 10th, 11th, and ending up in your 4th house. 9 degrees in Virgo. That will take place end of the year, so that will be all about family, foundation, and so forth. So you're going to have a very busy year attaining your goals, putting it out into the world, processing it with your hopes and dreams, working behind the veil, applying it to yourself when it gets into that 1st house, your money as far as your income, 2nd house, communications, and then, of course, now family. It's going to be a fast drive with no retrogrades on that Mars, but even more so, let's jump to Jupiter, which is going to be huge this year for you. You have worked now in 2025 on your personal finances, Jupiter in your 2nd house. And of course, we're talking about your solar charts, right? So you've been expanding that. It starts off top of the year, excuse me, with a retrograde there in Cancer, the sign of Cancer. And from March 11th, you will see that it's going to be moving direct again, picking up that slack from the retrograde. Hopefully by then you've got all your ducks in a row and so forth, and feeling happy and fine to tune with it until we enter into July 1st. There it's going to be for the rest of the year in Leo. And Leo is your 3rd house for communication. So your focus for the 2nd half of the year is pretty much going to be on travel. There's luck and growth taking place there. There's all about communication, how you're communicating and what you're communicating with a lot of enthusiasm. So you're expanding here the 2nd half of the year within this. Now, it also relates to your siblings. Maybe you have siblings, out of state or out of country. There might be more of a reconnection there or some travel due to it. Jupiter, of course, loves to travel, especially long distance. So you can see some of that. If you've had any dreams and hopes earlier, this might be the time that you want to take action upon it. Being in the sign of Leo, it's all about you, coming out in a grandiose way. Love that for you. Let's talk about Mercury retrogrades this year. Hopefully you have your pen and notepad. We got 3 of them coming up. First one starting there, let me see, it is the 26th of February straight through the 21st of March in your 9th house in the sign of Aquarius. So what does that mean? Well, we do know that we're always very, very careful of signing any dotted line, right? And especially in 9th house, which could also be contracts, right? Or anything with the law and so forth. So I'd say it's a good time to do research, looking into things, but do expect delays or that things can turn around before it's over and done with. Therefore, no big new purchases. We'd really like to avoid that. If you've already started on such a project, or you're already within, say, a lawsuit or that kind, well, the show must go on. But just know that within these dates, give it a few days, 4 or 5 days prior and 4 or 5 days after the aspect, just to let it get out of its shadow, and then you should be good. Second Mercury retrograde for the year for you. Here, Gemini will be in your 2nd house of money and income and sense of self-worth and all that the 2nd house represents for you. This one will start on June 30th, run through July 24th. So at this point, it's all about your income and the money also going out. You could come to see that you might spend more money than you had thought, or paid too much for something that you could have paid less for if you had done more research, right? So we want to be a little bit careful about it. Not expecting any kind of promotional expansion for your money at this time. Things can be delayed. There's always, room for hiccups and misunderstandings and so forth. So we just want to lay a little low there at that point. The third and last Mercury retrograde is from October 24th to November 14th in the sign of Scorpio and in the 6th house for health. This is a time where you might want to check up and recheck your health, right? Or bring back up a certain routine that you did do for your health that might have fell along the roadside throughout the year because you were busy when Mercury was going direct. So looking into doing some research on this would be really, really good. And just make sure that you haven't been ignoring any health symptoms, because this is a time where it could resurface, and then a good or great time actually to go in and shore that balance back up. Then I want to take a look at Jupiter for you. So now I want to shift the focus to the outer planets, and this is huge, guys. Listen, Gemini, there are several things that's going to be affecting you this year, and I'd like to start with Uranus, only because Uranus has been working behind the scenes in your 12th house for a number of years, and now it's going to be moving into the first house of self, the I am. And I have to say that you're going to really be noticing it, not just you personally, but the world is going to come to see you differently due to it. And this is also because the 12th house, we can say it's the unseen, it's the internal, it's the hidden, it's the private areas, the subconsciousness, right? When it's coming over your ascendance into the first house, it's going to be totally different in the way that you present yourself, also in a physical way. Because it's self-reinvention, and you're going to be propelled into a 7-year period of total identity change. So there could be some sudden erratic changes to your image, your personal style maybe, and the way you authentically now bring it out to the world, the unique you. We always have to think about uniqueness when it comes to Uranus. Your identity might have a new dramatic look, haircut, style, all that. You might even find yourself now wanting to change your job or your career, just an entirely new life approach. Because why? It's all about personal freedom when it comes to Uranus, okay? These outer planets, they're transpersonal, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. All three of them are changing now signs. And that's a lot happening all at once. We're going to talk about Neptune and Pluto as well. It's going to stay with you guys till 2033, so you have a long transit here that is going to be changing you up consciously. It starts off top of the year until February 2nd in retrograde motion, so you're kind of working on that from the end of 2025. But then it's going to be direct until September 11th. So you will have a good time here throughout that period of the year where Uranus is going to be at its highest function, moving direct, where you're going to really start seeing the major changes taking place in that personal identity. Love, love, love that for you. You will find that you're going to want to communicate differently. You'll be attracting new people. You're going to be a magnet for Uranian type of people who think out of the box, because you're going to really come out of your own box. I'm not saying out of the closet, Gemini. You're coming out of your box. All the things that you've been contemplating, thinking, working with behind the scenes, your world perception that you might have been quiet about. Well, you're not going to be quiet anymore. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, so you'll be experiencing full downloads and flashes of information, and ooh, it's going to come out. It might even be shocking to your environment, even to yourself at times. But you know what? It's liberating. Let's not forget what Uranus is all about. Uranus is all about freeing up and letting go of the past, right? And reinvention of everything. So, love that for you. Let's move on to Neptune, which is going to be retrograde from July 7th to December 13th. So it's direct, and it's in your 11th house for hopes and dreams. It's also about groups and organizations and so forth. You might find yourself being more attracted to certain kind of groups that are more Neptunian. I won't say flower power kind of thing, but Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, so it's all about love and beauty and those higher values. So you might also find that you're going to be more so wanting to be of help and with compassion to support groups and organizations. The humanitarian side of you might be awakening. Where can I make a change? And how can I make a change? Profound change to these groups and organizations. And let's not forget that Uranian energy coming into your personality, where it is more of the spiritual energies that are going to be more profound and important to you rather than the material, physical aspect. So I feel that this year, if you've been looking for or sensing that you've had a mission, where's my mission, it's gonna unfold. You will see where you're gonna fit in and live up to that. Pluto too, Pluto, I love Pluto for its transformative qualities. It's the end of the cycles, it's death and rebirth and whatnot. So you're going to come to see how this is going to be impacting, again, the higher thinking. And why is that? It's in your ninth house, which is for higher education. It's also for, it's more of the global thinking, the world at large. It is your philosophical thoughts coming in. Some of you might want to be going back to school or taking some classes. It's in the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So here we go. Again, you might be attracted to affiliate with groups at distance. So it may not just be local, even though Jupiter is going to be in your third house, more for local environments and groups that you can work with. But also, don't let that limit you, because the world is opening up. And of course, these days, we're all global, aren't we? We're on our devices and whatnot. We see what's going on in the world, other countries. I wouldn't be surprised one bit, Gemini, if you wouldn't start talking or advocating for groups at far away places or doing something that can help there. But Pluto is beautiful. You will see that having come out of this very long transit, 15 last years, you've been working on your finances, where your money has been going, how you've been sharing your money, eighth house concepts with that Pluto, for better or worse. There could have been some very good times, could also have been some very difficult times. You're done with that. You know where you stand today, how you're making your money, where your money is placed. Right now, the transformation will be focusing on your ninth house, your higher concepts, okay? All of these outer planets, it rules our higher chakras, so it's the higher consciousness that's going to come in, filter through to you. And I do want to let you know, before I let you go, I've made a couple of astrological songs, Venus and Jupiter, Mars, Jupiter, but I'd really invite you to listen to the song that's called Outer Planets. Why is that? Because when the upper chakras are enlightened, and they're going to be enlightened here for you, Gemini, it's really looking at the inspiration of what it means when we attune to our higher nature, allowing that to filter in to our 3D vessel, our physical body here on planet Earth, right? Bringing down the spiritual higher dimensions of higher values. And I hope it will inspire you. But listen, I wish you the best for 2026. Go do your thing. I know you're going to do great. And these changes that you're starting here in 2026, well, listen, it's only the beginning. These outer planets are going to be with you for many, many, many years. You're shutting a lot of doors. I know it might have been frustrating I speak to a lot of you as my clients, as Geminis, and I know it's been difficult for you to come down from leaving behind what no longer serves you, right? And it's been frustrating for so many, but you'll see why those things were coming to an end, whether in your personal relationships or whether it's been in your career. It's like, where do I belong now? Am I in my past? I'm not in my future yet, right? So, but be excited. That's all I can say. Be ready and prepared in your heart to open up, expand, change. Then you will become the magnet to attract all of these new things into your life. So, till a later time, Gemini, stay strong, stay happy. I'd love to hear from you in your comments and getting a lot of you back on board. I haven't been online for a long, long, long time. So, yes, see you soon. Bye now.